Hello everyone, Grandmaster Varuzhan Akobian here. We're back for our lectures and I'm glad to be back working with the chess club and giving you all these lectures. And today we're going to take a look at my games from America's Hybrid Qualifier. Okay, this is the qualifier tournament for the World Cup, and normally you have to travel to play in this America's qualifier, but this year they did it online because of the COVID. And I had a pretty good run in it and came extremely close to qualify. So I was unfortunately eliminated on the tiebreaks with Armageddon game, but I did win a couple of interesting games. And the first game I want to show you, there are two games I'll be showing you today, and we have two lectures today, so we're going to combine them and have one long lecture. So the first game I have is the game against Grandmaster Rodriguez. Okay, so one long lecture today, guys, instead of two different lectures. Okay, so I'm playing with the block pieces in this game, and my opponent played e4. This is the playoff game in a round number 3, and my opponent is Grandmaster Rodriguez Vila from Uruguay. I play e6. It's not a surprise for you guys. I played my favorite French defense in a tiebreak 10-minute game. d4, d5. Now he played e5, closing the center, so we have the advanced variation. Okay, c5, c3, knight c6, knight f3, and now we go queen b6. Queen b6, putting pressure on d4 and putting pressure on b2. And now there are a few different ways white can play in this position. He can play bishop e2, or he can play a3, or he can play the move that he did in the game, bishop d3. Okay, these are the options for him: bishop e2, bishop d3, or knight to a3. So he played bishop d3. Now I took. And of course, you probably know this trap. You cannot take the pawn here on d4. If you take the pawn, this is a trap. He takes back, queen takes, and now bishop b5 check, picking up the queen. Okay, so that's why he cannot do that. So after take, we play bishop d7. Bishop d7, now trying to take on d4. Trying to take the pawn on d4. And now, if white decides that he doesn't want to give up the pawn, he plays bishop c2. Then I will simply play knight to b4 and putting pressure on c2. And if he tries to keep the bishop with this move, then I have queen a6 and then knight d3 threat as well. So it's not going to work very well. So he played castle, sacrificing the pawn. I took knight takes d4, and now he played knight bd2. Now he played knight bd2, and normally we see white take knight takes d4, queen takes d4, knight d4. This is a normal setup, okay? And now we play, for example, a6, queen e2, rook c8. Putting pressure on the c file. So it's just a normal playable position here. This is what I was expecting, guys. But my opponent played knight bd2, and the move that I've seen this move before, but I didn't review it specifically. And since it's a 10-minute game, I didn't want to spend too much time trying to figure out the most precise idea. So I just returned on c6, playing it safe. And again, welcome everybody to the lecture. Glad to see you all here. And I'm watching the chat, so if you have some interesting questions, just type in there and I will answer them, okay? And again, we're going to have two games today. I will show one long lecture instead of just two different ones, okay? Now, I played knight c6 retreating, and now he plays knight b3, activating his knight, and now threatening to play bishop e3. Bishop e3, trying to attack my queen. So I don't want to be under attack with bishop e3, so I just go back here. queen to d8. Now he played bishop f4, activating his bishop, and as you can see, he's ahead in development, okay? He's ahead in development, and now I need to catch up, because see, my pieces are not developed. So I need to do something to develop my pieces, okay? The queen recapture violation mark, you could do that, but you know, you lose a lot of tempos taking those pawns, so that's why sometimes it's dangerous. Try to taking too many pawns, okay? Yeah, well, you know, retreating, but with a plan to go forward. And remember, I am up a pawn, guys. I'm up a pawn. That's why I'm retreating. If I get my development in order, then I'll be okay. But believe me, the game is going to get very interesting. Knight c5. Now he goes knight c5, trying to get active now. Putting pressure on b7 and putting pressure on d7. Now I need a good move here. Now I need a good move here to activate my pieces. So what do you think I should do here to activate? My pawn is under attack on b7. It's a very strong threat. I mean, takes knight d6 mate, so I cannot allow him to do it this way. So I have to try to do something with this knight, guys. Where should I put this knight to get some development, get some activities? Of course, I also have a move like bishop c8, but this is just too much. You know, pieces are going backwards, okay? So that's why I don't want to do that. So we go knight g6. Activating the knight, putting pressure here, and now threatening to take on c5. Knight g6, the bishop is under attack, and the knight is as well. Now he goes bishop g5, putting pressure on the queen. And now I need to get active. I need to get my queen active here, because I can also play bishop e7, but I was worried if I do this, then maybe he can take and some knight d6 ideas. So here I have to do something with my queen here. So we need to find a good move here. So from here on, I'm going to ask you guys to find the moves here, okay? So you'll be in charge of finding the moves here, okay? So queen b6, absolutely, absolutely. That's exactly what I played, guys. Queen b6, activating the queen and attacking that knight on c5. Now he takes, knight takes d7, king takes d7, rook e1. Now he goes rook e1. We need to get some more development, guys. Development is the key. We still have that bishop undeveloped. We got that rook undeveloped. We gotta get those guys developed here. So which piece we need to develop here to attack, to put pressure? Bishop c5, absolutely. Developing the bishop and doing it with the tempo. Now f2 is under attack. He has to do something, because now we got the bishop here attacking. Of course, you're not interested to take any of these pawns, never, because now he's gonna take, and then your king is gonna get super weak. So this would be a suicide, okay? Allowing this. So never take pawns like that, okay? When your king is in the middle. So most important thing is to catch up on the development. Now he goes queen e2. Rook h, c8. Now completing my development. Now he plays h4. h4, trying to play h5 here. Now he's trying to push the pawn on h5 to attack on the knight. Now h6, absolutely. Questioning the bishop and trying to force him to go back. He went back here, bishop d2. And here I decided that I want to start slowly moving my king to safety. King e8, king f8. Okay? Now he plays a3. He's threatening to play b4 here. He's trying to attack my bishop. And now what should I do here? He's threatening to play b4, and I made an okay move, but I think there was something even better than what I played here. Let's try to find the best move here. Not the move that I played, the best move. Let's see some good suggestions. Knight f4 cannot play. Knight f4. Knight f4 we can mark. Bishop is here. Bishop will take us. Bishop f4. So he's got that bishop guarding this. a5. Yeah, that's what I played, guys. I played a5, but then I sort of regretted it because I created a big hole on b5. And later on in the game, I had to deal with this bishop. So yeah, I played it. But here, the better move is actually knight d4 is a better option here, which was suggested by Matthew. Excellent. Knight d4 takes, bishop takes. And exchanging, and now putting pressure on e5, and if there is a check, I can simply walk to f8. Okay. So that's the idea. Now he goes here. I should have played knight d4. I mean, the best line is if he goes here, just play a5. Check, and I can hide the king now on d8. This is very, very comfortable for me. King is very safe. Despite not being castled, it's still very safe on d8, okay? So, yeah, I should have done this definitely. I played here, and now he plays rook a1, developing his rook. I go knight d4, knight takes d4, bishop d4. Now, putting pressure on e5, putting pressure on b2, lots of pressure. Lots of pressure now, but I realize I need to play knight d4 to do it. So now he plays b4. Now I took, because otherwise he's gonna take on a5, so I wanted to take this. Bishop b4. And here I played a move that, again guys, this is a playoffs game, so this is a 10-minute plus 3-second increment type of game, so it's not a very long game. So some of the decisions are based on intuition that I'm making here. Of course, if I had more time, I would try to play every move more precisely. Here, I should have just taken and take the pawn on e5. There is a check, but after knight c6, it seems like black is just doing really well here. Okay, I'm up 2 pawns, and it doesn't look like he has that many strong threats here. But instead, I played knight f4, thinking that this is going to give me some good counterplay, but he has a very nice idea. Bishop b5 check first. I don't have any other squares, but I have to go to d8. And now he goes queen f3. Now he goes queen f3. So the question is, what do I do now? After queen f3, it looks like I might have walked into some trouble here, because now my knight moves, he's going to take on f7. That looks devastating. So it looks like a problematic situation here. What should I do here? I mean, and if I take on b5, the problem is he takes, and now my bishop is hanging, and again f7 is hanging on top of that, so this is going to be a problem. I can never lose the f7 pawn, guys. If I lose the f7 pawn, I'm going to be in a very, very big trouble. Okay? So I cannot lose that. So I decided to take, liquidate some material, and now what can we do? Very, very important moment here, guys. What are we going to do now? This is a critical game, and definitely it would be very bad for me to lose this, because that's the first game of the playoff. That will give my opponent lots of confidence here. But luckily, in a difficult position, I calculated it and I tried to find the best moves. Knight d3. No, we can't play knight d3, guys. The bishop will take back. Queen b5, then yes, queen f4. Yeah, well, I didn't see anything better here. I mean, I didn't see anything better. I mean, this doesn't work, guys. He just takes. And yeah, this just doesn't work. Here he takes. And I don't have the knight e2 check, if you were wondering, because the bishop can take back. Okay? So I took on e5. There is nothing else I can see that will work for me. And now the bishop is hanging. And here my opponent made a mistake. He had to play the move bishop f1. Okay? He had to play the move bishop f1 with idea to play g3. Okay? Bishop f1 with idea g3 to remove my knight. Okay? So he had to do that, but he didn't do that. He decided that, a bishop f1 is kind of a hard move to play because your bishop is active and you're thinking, I should try to keep the bishop there. So now he played the logical looking move a4, and here, for the moment, I thought I'm in some trouble because this h3 move is coming up. I even contemplated some ideas like this: rook c8, takes, g3, and something like queen d4. But I mean, this is not great for me. He can take, and white is gonna be up a piece. I mean, I can fight. I have a couple of pawns for the piece, but again, I'm only fighting for a draw in this position. So after realizing that this is not gonna work, and then suddenly an idea came to my mind, a very strong idea, and this idea completely changes the evaluation from being really difficult for me here to a very nice advantage for me. It gives me lots of initiative, and my pieces become active. And my pieces become active. So what is the idea here? His bishops are so strong. Guys. So it would be so nice for us to try to eliminate one of the bishops. And now I see some good answers. Samir, if we go here, the problem is he takes. Takes and g3, Samir. And now a knight moves, he's going to take on f7. And it's going to be a problem. Okay? And it's going to take. So that's why we can't do that. So we need to do something very, very special here. Rook takes a4. Perfect. Rook takes f4. Takes. and take. When we suggested rook c8, when did we suggest rook c8? Here. Yeah, he has bishop e7 too, but then we take king e7 and rook c8. I mean, probably white is better, but I don't want to play rook c8 anyway. So we have rook c here, takes, and we take. He has to take because he doesn't have a way to protect this guy. Takes, and we take. Now the bishop is under attack. Okay. Now let's count the material so we have a better understanding of what's going on. Okay. So right now I have knight and 3 pawns, basically. Knight and 3 pawns for a rook. Again, the value of the rook is 5. Knight and 3 pawns, we have 6. So technically we're up a pawn here. 6 versus, and the most importantly, now we also eliminated a lot of the danger for our king. Okay, there is still a little bit of danger, but most of the danger is eliminated. So he goes here, bishop d6, Now he played queen e3, attacking the bishop. So the bishop is under attack, so I went bishop d6 just to defend. Now everything is under control, and I was expecting him to play something like bishop b3 or something like that. But then he played bishop d1. A little bit awkward looking move here. And here I played a very nice move. Very nice move I played. But also I had a simpler idea as well. Now my position is really, really good here. So let's think and try to find the best continuation here, guys. Oh, how many players will be in a World Cup from US? There are three who qualified, and plus another 7, maybe 10 total. So we'll probably have 10 players representing us. Yeah, d4. I agree with you. d4 is a very natural move now, trying to give a check. Now, if anywhere, then we have queen e1 check, and if he goes here, now we need to attack this queen. This queen is strong here, so how we can try to remove this queen? I saw the move d4, but I didn't look deeper, and I didn't look deeper to find this next move. This move is very strong. f5, yes, questioning the queen, and now queen has to go away. So now we go check. Check. He goes here, and now we can check and give a mate next move. Okay. So yeah, this was very strong actually. Much simpler. I just, in a position like this with the bishop, you have difficulties finding these ideas, because you would think, oh, I'm weakening the light squares, so it's more difficult. So now I played here, but my move is very nice too. But again, I should have just played d4, queen e4, and f5, and this would have been perfect. Okay. I played knight d3 as a very nice move because I calculated if he takes, what do we do, guys? If he takes, what do we do? What is my follow-up here? Queen e1. Well, it's not a mate yet because he has this. And now very strong move, bishop h2, a deflection. A deflection, okay? Takes, queen takes, okay? And now the bishop is pinned and we're gonna take on f2. Okay. So now, knight d3, he played rook a1. Yeah, if the king was on e8, I agree. That's a very good point. If the king was on a light square, like here and here, it wouldn't have worked because he would have a discovery check. But luckily, it's not. The king is on a dark square here. It's not on its usual square. Now he plays rook a1 and just trying to step away from this, and here I had something else prepared now against this. Something else I have here, guys. Black to play and win now. Well, queen e1 check, he takes. I don't know. Queen e1, he just takes. We need to expose the position of opponent's king. Again, I'm a bit worried about d4 because he has queen e4, for example. So I'm a bit concerned about just playing d4 like that. There are some rook a1 checks later on too he can do, so we have to be a little bit careful. Knight takes f2, correct, yes, correct, because now if he takes with the queen, we go bishop c5, pinning and winning, okay? So he has to take back with the king. And bishop c5. Pinning this guy, and if he takes, queen takes. Alright. So after I played here, he started to think, but it's a little too late now because bishop c5 is coming up. So for example, if he tries to move the bishop, bishop c5, attacking the queen, queen takes h4, and then we move the knight and we just try to give the mate. Okay? Now, after spending about 2 minutes realizing that the position is just hopeless, he went for rook to a4. Now, don't rush, guys. Take your time. You know, we don't want to keep the game complicated. Just keep it simple now. We just want to keep it simple. Yep. Knight takes d1. Absolutely. Hitting the queen. Now, he doesn't have any checks here and here, so he has to take. Knight takes c3. And now I'm up too much material. He played a couple of more moves here, but it's not that important now. Once I get this, I have 2 pieces and too many pawns. Since this was a shorter time control, he just played down a little bit, but And at the end, very nice. He's got one threat now to play rook to b8 check. So we just play f6 and king f7. Top 7 from US. I think so. I think Yogi. Yeah, I think we have the top 7 from US, and then we have 3 other guys who qualify. So we'll have about 10 representatives. Okay, we will have about 10 representatives in the upcoming World Cup next month. Okay, it's gonna be in the beginning of July 10th. Okay, July 10th in Russia. Okay, all right. So here my opponent went here. f6 once again. Just keep everything protected. And here, and I just play g5. And just continue pushing. My opponent resigned because there is not much he can do here. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed this game, and I was happy to play the French after some time. And I haven't played any competitive chess, like serious tournament like this, since November. November of 2019. So it was about a little bit more than a year and a half actually. So it was. I was excited to be back and play. Try to play some good chess again. All right, so I won this game, and then the following game I was winning as well, but I took a draw and advanced to the final. So now I'm at the final, and I need to win this match against Grandmaster from Argentina, 25-30. And I'm going to show you that game, the second game of that match. The heartbreak game. I didn't play very well in the first game, guys. I didn't play very well in the first game, and against Grandmaster Krysa, 25-30 FIDE rating. So I was losing in the first game, but I got lucky. He made some mistakes in the rook endgame, and then I got some chances, and eventually I held. But I was losing in the first game, so that was a good sign, because now I feel like, okay, I have a chance with the white pieces. And this is a critical game. If I win this game, I win my group and I qualify to the World Cup. So a lot on the line here. d4, knight f6. c4, g6. Thank you. I'm glad you're enjoying the lectures, Yogi. Knight c3. Now d5. Now, he played the Gruenfeld defense. This is always a tough opening to crack, and it's a tough opening to get an advantage. So there's so many different ways you can play, but I decided I should just play classically. Takes, take, e4, takes, bishop g7. So, and he played queen a5. He had another game that he played castle here. He had a game had he castled, then played bishop g4, and that game ended in a draw here. But I had some ideas there. But now I play queen a5, now threatening to take, so I have to go here, and I go rook c1 just to protect. And here there are different ways black can continue. He can play rook d8, he can play knight c6, or he can play bishop g4. I didn't review this particular line because I wasn't expecting the queen a5 that much, so I didn't remember like really fresh how I had to play. So I decided I will just try to get out of the opening and just get some kind of playable position. So the main move here is d5. Okay, if you're wondering, you should play the move d5 here. That's the main move in this position. I play bishop e2, just developing, and now let's say if he plays knight c6, I was planning to just play d5. Takes, g takes f. Here I can play even f4 and c4, something like this. Play this position. But he played a very interesting move, knight d7. A very interesting move, knight d7, and I had to spend some time here because I realized in a lot of these lines he wants to go here, here and some knight c4 ideas too. So I had to do something here. So for example, also I cannot just castle, if you're wondering why I didn't just castle, because he takes, and bishop takes pawn. Okay? So now I have to make a decision, and if I play the move e5, d5, then I think he might play c4. There's a little bit of a problem taking because he has rook fc8, putting pressure now here. And since if I was castled, I would just move the bishop, but here now c3 is hanging too. So there were some games played with c4 and bishop d4 here. I played recently. There was a game of Jeffrey Chong. So maybe this is playable like this. But I just wanted to get the bishop, so I played h3, takes. And now a very important moment here, guys. How should we take back here? I know the question may seem very obvious, but please think. Please think so you can see the idea. Because he does have an idea that he wants to do here. How should I capture here? What is the correct way to capture? What is the correct way to capture? Take with the pawn, okay. Well, let's take a look taking with the bishop, because that might be the first question, you know. Why not take with the bishop? Because if you take with the bishop, he plays queen b6. And now he's threatening a very annoying knight c4. You may seem like, wait a minute, we can do something about that, don't we? But the question is what? So, bishop e2, for example, to stop him from coming there. But then we run into this problem. He takes. We can't take back with the bishop because we're dropping d4, so we have to take back with the king. And now he goes here, rook fd8. Putting pressure on d4. Now if I play e5, he just takes. So if he plays d5, just e6, breaking the center. Yeah, here black looks better, I agree with you, because my king is stuck in the middle of the board. And I don't have a good way to defend. If I had my rook here, I go king a1, then I'm clearly better. So it's amazing that one move makes such a difference. I probably can equalize the game here somehow, but again, I wasn't interested in just trying to equalize here. So unfortunately, yeah, I don't have anything good here, so that's why I had to take back with the pawn. Now he played e6 because e6 is directly against the move d5 here. Okay, so e6. But the problem I have here now, I still cannot castle. Okay, I still cannot castle here, so I need to do something, and this something is very, very important. Okay, guys, this something is very important. So this is a game in the finals, second classical. This is a classical game, so there's more time to think and play. This is a classical game against Krysa. Very important moment here. What move should I play here, guys? Now, how should I try to do that? No, bishop h6 doesn't work. If you never want to take on c5. If you take on c5, he goes knight takes c5. It's not going to look good. Okay. Now, very special move here. e5. I don't know. e5, then I'm worried about knight b6, knight d5. You know, then his knight can get to d5. Knight b6, knight d5. No, it's rook b1 here. That's a possibility. It's a possibility, rook b1, but better. I want to try to castle here, guys. You need to make a move that is going to help me with castling problem. Okay? That's the problem I have. I cannot castle here. So we need to do something to prevent, you know, so we need to do something so we can defend our center and get ready to castle. So it took me about 30 minutes to play this move because I was calculating a lot of things. But my opponent probably missed it too because he started to think a lot too. We can play king f1. King f1, he takes, Ryan. Takes, and then trade queens. And then d4 pawn is dropping. So we can just move the... So, you know, and plus he wants to play like rook fd8, and start putting more pressure. Yeah, I looked at that line, but rook c7, maybe he just goes knight c5. The maximum I can achieve there is maybe some kind of equality if I'm lucky there. Some kind of equality. All right, looks like we see the right move here. Rook g2, absolutely. Rook c2, absolutely, okay. Protecting the queen, and in case of the captures now, I can take back with the rook. So nothing is stopping me now from castling, okay. Why not castle? I just mentioned this, Mark. If I castle, he takes. You gotta take back with a pawn here. And then he trades. And he picks up my central pawn. Okay? Because I have to make a retreating move with my bishop. So that's why I play rook c2. Now he plays knight b6. He's trying to get active. Finally, time to castle. Now he goes here. Here, again, I should just play a little bit faster. I kept spending some time on moves that I shouldn't have. So, what is the most natural and logical move in this position that I should play? Rook d1 is possible, but then you're kind of blocking your other rook on f1. So I kind of want to have that first round clear so I can move my rook whenever I want to move. I can move it to d1. I can move it to any other squares, okay? What's the best move here? Which piece now we need to bring into the game? Rook d1. Rook d1. Okay, rook d1 is definitely a move. Okay, rook d1 is definitely a move. But what else we can try to do? Rook d1 is definitely a move, but what else we have here? Thank you, Chudir. Appreciate the compliment. I don't want to play bishop h6, Spider. We don't want to trade the bishop. My only advantage here is the pair of the bishops. The only reason I have advantage is these two bishops. If I trade the dark square bishop, then I will lose my pair of bishops, okay? So in this position, I don't want to trade bishops. I want to bring my rook into the game. The rook on f1, it's not developed, okay? So we need to figure out a good square now for our rook. Rook b1, perfect. Now we are putting pressure to this knight. This knight cannot move easily. We can take on b7. We got some rook b5 ideas coming up as well. Okay? We got some nice rook b5 ideas coming up. Now he plays c takes d4. The critical line in this position is this. If he plays rook fd8, completing the development, I actually can play this quiet move king g2, which computer likes. It says white is a little bit better, but in my calculation I was going to try to get this in, attacking the rook, and if he goes here I go bishop b5. Now getting some ideas on this rook. The bishops are very strong, and if he goes here, for example, we can trap him now with this. Okay, the rook getting trapped. If he plays here, then it's possible we can push and attack. Okay, d5. So this is what I was gonna do. Oh, king g2 is good too, because if he takes, we just take, and the queen is hanging. Takes, I take. And now we are defending this. So it's slightly, very slightly better for white here. But my opponent decided to take. I take back, and now he spent a little bit more time here. He was trying to consider what to do here. Because when opponent king is exposed, oftentimes you think you can make a move like queen h5 here and try to have some counterplay. But actually this one is just losing. We take, takes, and king g2. And the queen is completely out of place. And now I have ideas such as bishop g5 and f4. Bishop g5, f4, simply trapping the queen. Okay? Bishop g5, f4, and the queen cannot go anywhere. Okay? So he played queen takes d2, exchange, which is the correct decision, and now we take. Now I kind of achieve a type of position that I wanted it to get against him from the get-go. Endgame with two bishops, with some good center here, and zero losing chances and good winning chances. Let's put it this way. But again, here now we need to pause and think, because you know, I'm the one with a little bit of vulnerable center here. I do have two bishops, but how do I proceed in this position? Okay? How do I continue here? Because it doesn't look that easy. Now, what's the plan here? A4 was my first choice too, guys, but the problem is he just takes. A4 he just takes, and I know you want to go rook b7, but I think he can just play a5 there. and it's unclear. Okay, so a4 takes this a5, and now knight is landing on c3, and the knight is landing on c3, and some pressure. Okay, so that's why I didn't play that. So what's the plan here? I like your plan, guys. I like your a4, a5 plan, but we're gonna need to prepare that somehow, okay? We can't just go for it. We need to prepare it. Move the king up one square. Bishop g5 we can, guys. Somebody said bishop g5. He will just take on d4. Again, I want to play a4. How bad is bishop b5? No, it's the best. That's what I played, Mark. That's the best move. Bishop b5. Activating the bishop, controlling a lot of squares, and now getting ready to play a4, a5. Getting ready to play a4, a5 to put pressure. Okay? Now he goes rook c7, a4. Now threatening to play a5. Okay? Threatening to play a5, he goes here. Knight to c8. So he's trying to regroup his forces. And here, I made a move that it's important to play in these positions, guys. You want to bring your king into the game a little bit closer. My king on g1 not doing anything, so I kind of want this king to be a little bit closer. So I played this move to bring the king in. Now I also set up a little trap for him. So he played b6, which is the correct move. If he plays knight d6, why is this a mistake, guys? If he plays knight d6, why is this a mistake? I have a very strong idea now against this move. Now what to do? d5, absolutely d5, yes. Now if he takes, we can go rook takes d5, and then he's going to be in serious trouble with this pin. Okay? And if he takes, we take back with the pawn, and now we're threatening to play b6. Okay? It's very hard to do anything now to stop b6. So like for example, if he takes, we go b6. Hitting this guy. If it takes, bishop takes, taking the rook on c7. Okay? So, and if he tries to play b6 himself, I take, hitting the rook. If he takes back, I take on d8. If he goes here, then I can just take. I mean, I can even take on f7 and play this position. Here I'm slightly better here because these two pawns are fixed against one. Yes, he can take here. By king g2 I can play. I have basically 3 on 2 here. This one pawn on b5 is fixing the a7 and b6. So, but he didn't want that. He didn't want that, guys. So that's why he played the move b6. Now what do I do now? Again, I'm better here, but again, he's got no weaknesses. It's very hard to win this position because the opponent has no weaknesses. And now he actually wants to go here and then knight c4 to completely equalize the game. So, I mean, he just... So, for example, I go here, he goes here. And then he's just trying to trade the knight. So I have to do something here. I have to do something here, so I decided to, you know, that this is a critical moment. E5 I'm not a big fan of because then you're giving this knight wonderful squares like this and like this to go to. Okay, so this squares will be wonderful. So that's why I don't want to do that. Let's think of a plan here, guys. Bishop g5. No, we can't bishop g5. d4 is hanging still. a5, I'm not sure, guys. He just takes. And then he can even put the knight on b6 there. So I'm not sure if this is really going to work. What do we do here? Rook bd1, correct, Theo. Rook bd1 because we want to try to play d5. Absolutely, absolutely. We play now to play d5. Okay. Now he goes here, knight d6. Activating, and I play d5. And here my opponent, I think, panicked and made a mistake that should have cost him the game. So in this position, his best chance is to take on b5. And I have two options here. I probably have to take back with ab. And we play this position where, you know, I think he has good drawing chances. But again, I'm going to play for a long time because my b pawn is fixing this too. I can try to advance f4, f5. Well, I don't have any other choice because if I move the bishop, it's even worse. Now he attacks this way. Okay, I don't have a choice. I have to give up one of the bishops here. So, but he probably didn't like this idea that I take de, and this is very, very interesting because now if it takes, I take. And now knight is under attack. And if he tries to keep the knight, I have a check. And we have the mate, rook f8 coming up. And it's a mating net. Okay? On h6. So, but here he has a very good move here. Knight d4. And now if I take, he takes back with a rook. Bishop takes, take, and he has this idea. So looks like he's gonna have good drawing chances here. Most likely this is gonna be a draw. Okay? So All right. So now, this was his main option. He had to take, okay? He absolutely had to do that. But instead, he played the move e5. It's a mistake, because now I have a very strong pass pawn, but he's trying to get f5 in here. So here I played the correct move, rook a2. The reason this is important, because he is threatening to play f5, putting pressure on e4, and then play f4. So that's why I have to do something. So I have to move this guy, f5, bishop d3. Now if it takes, goes here, I go here. Yeah, now we're not scared because we have a strong center. He plays here, I played a5 correct, and now a6. So now he's got two weaknesses, and I thought this is just perfect. This is just perfect here for me. Rook over, king up. And here it was, you know, I had to be a little bit more precise in my play here. I kind of shuffled around. This position is pretty much winning for me here. I just have to just take and put the bishop on c6. See, I went around a little bit here. I should have just take and put the bishop here, and this is just the winning position. And just convert. I tried to shuffle around a little bit. I was hoping somehow to force him to play f4 or take, then f3. I wanted to win cleanly, but it didn't quite work because he kept finding ideas. Like I went here, now I wanted to take, but then he has this. So it was, I couldn't get exactly that position. But now I finally realized, let me trade one pair of rooks, which I accomplished doing that. Now I go here. Now I go rook here, and now I was hoping to get this bishop on c3, and then I will be annoying him with this threat of f4. But he played a good move. He went here. So now if I go bishop c3, he will just play bishop f6. So here I realized that it's time. It's time to do it, and I played it correctly. The only problem is we're down to about a minute each here. Now he took. I play bishop c6 correct, and here this is perfect. Everything is done correctly. I'm about to win the game, guys. I'm about to win this game and qualify to the World Cup. If he takes, I just take back with the king, and I'm just have two bishops. I have some rook b7 ideas and some bishop c3. a7 is weak. Complete domination. And here he plays quickly knight c4, and I have about a minute here. And here I make a mistake that cost me a win here. White to play. Can you please find the winning continuation here? The way I played, I still had some chances, but it was nowhere near. Nowhere near to what I could have had. White to play now. What's the best move here to win this game? Yeah, bishop c3 is the strongest, because I didn't see this. I thought he just takes. But here, the problem with my play was, even if I didn't see the best move here, I could just take here, and I'm just winning here. Then I simply go here, and I will win this game. But here I have an even better move here, guys. Look at this. Attacking the knight. Knight has to go away. Let's say here. I take, hitting the rook. And now, finishing him off now with this. Yep, that's game over right there. Yeah, this was so precise, this king d3 idea. And if he goes king knight d6, I just take, and now he's completely pinned. He cannot move anything here, guys. If he goes back here, we're entering this way. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Adam. Good night. Yeah, you saw the most important part here of the game. Now I take, and again, so close. This was a difficult pill to swallow, because it was a really well played game, I thought, you know. Meticulously pressuring, meticulously and getting this, you know, to the winning position, and then just not making the right decision. No, I don't know that Grandmaster Chudir. I don't know. Now, Rook B7 is another move. I know you guys suggested. This is an excellent move too. Now, if he takes, we just take back, threatening to queen. If he goes here, now, this is the important move. I didn't see this move. Bishop B4. Now, if he takes, we promote. And if he takes, we simply play again King D3. Important move. Now, the knight has to go. And we simply take on D6. If check, we just go here. And the game is over again. I mean, yeah, he has to go back, and I take. He can try to set up a little blockade, but it's just, I'm up a pawn, I have two bishops. This is just over. Well, he's attacking my bishop. So this knight c4 was a clever move by my opponent. And now I'm looking at it, it's just so clear to me. I should just play bishop c3, keep the bishop, and then rook in. I mean, it's just so clear. Just to do this, and it's just, game is over. There is no way he can save this game. There is no survival here whatsoever. Instead, I took, and now takes, and here he had a very strong move. He actually made a mistake. I was still winning after this, but here Black has a very strong move here. Black has a strong move here, guys. What is the idea here for Black? Well, I played pawn takes pawn, and this was a mistake. I should have just taken a little bit more time here. I moved too quick here. I didn't want to get more into time trouble, so I should have just taken my time. But I took, he took, and now bishop d6. This is a strong move, incredibly strong move here. And he might be holding this position, because the problem is now I don't have a way to activate my rook. If I go here, then he's got this tactic, rook takes c6. Hitting my bishop. And now if I go check, he just goes rook c7. Takes, bishop takes. Okay? So, yeah, bishop d6 is very strong. It's very strong. And he would have had good chances. So I had more winning chances later. I'll show you. But again, this is not the same now. It's not so easy to win this position. I'm hoping to get a king on c5 and play. I need to be able to play this move, d6, in order to win this. And here we are playing on 30-second increment. And here he makes a mistake. He makes my life easy with this move. And what I gotta do is I gotta start with I played rook e8 here, but I gotta start with rook d8 check. He has to go here. If he goes to e7, just rook e8 check, rook e6, and I pick up e5. Then I have two connected pass pawns. And now I go rook e8. This is winning now because e pawn is hanging. He takes now check. He cannot come forward because of the rook d7 mate. Has to go here now check. It's a little bit more complex, I understand. But now we go here, and the problem for him is I have a threat of just push d pawn now, and also have a threat to put a king in here and just close the door and mate him with bishop b5. So that's why this makes this position completely hopeless too. Okay, but again, it's not as same as before. So this was the second win I missed. I had to start with the check and then rook e8. Then the game goes on. And we get to this position. I'm still trying to make progress, but he was defending quite well. And now he makes another mistake, king c7. And here is the third moment where I have a win here. But it's a little bit more computer-esque, okay? So, but since you know that there is a win here, I want you to spend a little bit of time and find the win. This was my final win I had in this game. After this, it was more difficult. So white to play. How could I have won this game? Now it's we need to see. The problem is with king c5, guys. He has this check, and the problem is with rook f6 he guarded. So this bishop is very annoying, and we need to understand that we have to do something towards this bishop, because if this bishop is gone from g5, then we're going to be able to either play king c5 or rook f6. Yeah, I did play king d3, but unfortunately that wasn't the best. So it's a really nice idea here that we can do. f4, absolutely, guys. f4 wins the game on the spot, because now if he takes with a pawn, then I go up here, and now d6 is devastating. He doesn't have the bishop e3 check any longer. Okay, so he has to take back with the bishop, and now I go here, threatening d6, check, 4 kings, so he has to go here, check, he goes here, and now we start pushing. The rook cannot go anywhere, so he has to go here. We're pushing. Now we want a queen, and now he goes here. And here I have 2 different ways to win. One of my ideas is to go here and here. That wins. I mean, he has to go here, here, here. Then I take. Then I go back, and then this is winning. But I have much nicer way to finish this game here. Much nicer way I can finish this game here, guys. Yeah, f4 is fancy, I agree. But again, you need time to find f4, which unfortunately I didn't have. Rook takes f. We'll take a look at that line, Patrick. That line is losing, but yeah, we can take a look. So what's the finish here? What's the nice finish here, guys? Absolutely, Bruno. Yes. Yes, Bruno. And we push. And look at that. Look at that. 2 connectors going down. And if he goes here, he wants to queen. We just simply play king c5. Simply controlling this. And then pushing our guys in. And the game is over. This would have been, again, a beautiful way to finish this tournament. There was a question about if he plays... Bishop takes. What was the question? If he does this. About this. Yeah, then the problem is this. Patrick, check. Check, and then check. And check. Winning the rook. Winning the piece. And if you go backwards, then it's just bad. A7 is hanging, and you're gonna lose. Yeah, and then I went here. I shuffled around, and here actually a mistake. King d3 now. Now is getting king is very strong on c5. I thought he will crack finally somewhere here, but then he found a good move here, rook c7, and check. And the final mistake is check. I should just play rook e8. Still advantage for me, but now I just didn't expect this move, because I thought I go here, and I only looked at this. It was my bad, because I thought now I'm finally gonna start pushing my pawn. I thought I'm gonna start winning this, but I completely forgot this idea. And this was an excellent resource by my opponent, and now he's trying to get active. And here my clock was ticking down, and I saw that if I play this, my rook is getting trapped. I can't trade rooks, it's going to be a draw. So if I take, if you're wondering about this, this doesn't work, unfortunately, as bishop d6. I probably should have played like this anyway, but it's just a draw here. And if I try to keep my rook here, and he has this, hitting my rook, goes back, rook f7, and now things are getting really, really complicated. I mean, it's equal now. Yeah, I should have played bishop c6, of course. I should have still played bishop c6. I mean, the way I played it was just a draw. I took, and now he played bishop f4, a good move, hitting my rook. I go away and check, and now I don't have a way to escape. I cannot even go here because this is a mate. So I went here, and the game ended in a draw. Then we had this tie breaks, and then another 2 games in Armageddon, which I lost on time in a drawn position because I had 4 minutes versus 5. Yeah, I should have. Yeah, when I should have played bishop c6. I still should have done this, and because here, I mean, I can at least try. You know, I have to play this move. I can try at least, you know. Oh yeah, the problem here is he plays bishop f6. Sorry, I just realized he goes here. And now I don't have d6, he has this, and winning this. But, yeah, so... But maybe, if I take, bishop takes, the king comes to d6 as a dead draw. If I play f5 again, he just comes in with the king. Yeah, just, I can go here. You can just even take, maybe. Yeah, so this was a tough game, guys. Very, very tough game. And again, this is much more complicated than it should have. It should never have been this complicated to win this game. All I had to do is play the natural move. Again, you just keep things simple here. Just bishop c3. He takes, and here I probably would have played already king d3 because it's pretty clear that knight moves. I just take on e5 and everything is falling apart. And if I take, or even if I take, this is still technically a very easy position. Yeah, I mean, the endgame, yeah, it was tough. I mean, I thought it was a good game. I thought I played relatively well this game and, you know, on point with my plan and my thoughts. But just, unfortunately, the result wasn't the one that I needed it to qualify. So, that was a pity. But anyway, still, you know, glad to be playing some chess after a year and a half. And hopefully I'll do better in the next tournaments, okay? Alright guys, thank you very much everybody for watching this 2 games, this lectures today. I'll be back again on next Thursday. So I'm working this week and next week, so you're gonna see me more. And make sure you check out the Twitch as well, so you will see some of the streams on a Twitch, and I will have some more lectures for you prepared. There are a couple of more games from this tournament I would like to show you, okay? Alright, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this game. It was, you know, I definitely enjoyed playing the game. The process, everything about this game was enjoyable for me except the result. So, but anyway, hopefully for better results next time for me. And thank you again, everybody, for watching. And we'll see you again next week, okay? Take care. Bye-bye, everybody.